Hey there, I'm Kevin Downey, and I run an agency called Kevin M. Downey where we help companies with their recruiting and email marketing efforts. You can visit our website at kevinmdowney.com. Okay, today's topic, proper B2B email infrastructure setup 2025, right? Algorithms keep changing, stuff keeps getting tougher. We're going to talk about the formula and the structure you need to have in order to get strong deliverability, generate a lot of leads with email, and do it in volume, all right? So let's first backtrack a little bit and talk about what most B2B companies are doing, because in our calls, they say, well, we're already doing email. Okay, well, what are you doing, right? So most are doing one of these two or both. So they are running newsletter email, constant contact, MailChimp, that kind of stuff, which is great for branding. It's great to keep your brand in front of people, but it's not going to drive leads, not consistently anyway. That is pretty common, and it's good to be doing that. The way that most people think they should be doing email to drive leads is they use their CRM, because out of 1,500 live CRMs right now in the world, I think 90-something% of them now have automated email built into their systems, right? But here's the problem. Most companies utilize their reps' email addresses to do the emailing, and they run everything through the email service provider, the ESP, right? So if it's Google Workspace or Microsoft 365 or whatever they're using, and you really can only send 50, 75, 100 a day per email address. That's not going to move the needle. It takes hundreds of emails, sometimes over 1,000 outbound emails to generate one inbound lead, depending on who you're targeting and with what, right? So those two ways of doing email really aren't really doing email in terms of email infrastructure and the way we think about it to drive a volume of leads day after day after day. Because not only is the system high volume, but you get great deliverability and it's infinitely scalable, right? So what does it look like? All right. So the formula is you've got to get engagement. This is for reputation of everything, right? We got to generate engagement, means proper targeting. We need opens, we need replies. We're trying to elicit a response for a couple of reasons. One, we want to generate leads. Number two, replies are engagement. It's good for the health of the infrastructure. We want to avoid repetition, which means we have to spin text the emails, and we need to avoid spam marks, which means we need to be relevant and very personable to the individual that we're targeting. One-to-one text-based emails designed to elicit a response, right? So how do we build that? What's the structure we use? So you've got a number of different vendors who have systems that are built specifically for this use case. So for example, you need two parts. You need the server side that does the actual delivering of the email. And then you have the campaign management side, which is where you house your campaign itself. This is what the email is going to say. You load all your contacts or emails into the campaign, and then you turn on a button to launch it, but it ultimately has to send through something, right? It's got to deliver through something. So that's where your server comes into play, and then again, you have your campaign management system. So what does that look like in terms of structure? So the server, you can use MailReef, MailForge. There's a number of different vendors out there that are very good. We're partial to one specific one, and then you've got your campaign management system, say like a SmartLead or a SalesForge or whatever. Again, we're partial to one particular system, but they all do the same thing, okay? You need to have, for example, on the server structure we build for clients, one server is one IP address. You're dealing with 34 domains, 3 email addresses per domain, so 102 or 100 email addresses. With that, we can send 30 outbound cold emails per email address per day. So that's 3,000 per day, cold emails. And across those emails, we're also going to send what are invisible to you, what we call warming emails. So it's a 3-to-2 ratio. So let's say 20. If you send 30 cold emails, we're going to send 20 warming emails across that email address and across that domain, right? So we're sending a total of 30 cold emails, 20 warming emails. If we do that on 100 email addresses, that's 3,000 and 2,000. If you do that over the course of 20 business days, that's 60,000 and 40,000, which is 100,000 total emails, which is the maximum for a server and IP address in the way that we structure it, right? And most of the vendors are pretty comparable in these kinds of numbers. right? So you have a three to two cold to warm ratio. You got a lot of email addresses. They're all tied together so that you're building one campaign. All the email addresses just send the emails, right? It just rotates through all of them. So say you're sending 3,000 emails in a day. It's going to rotate through all of those email addresses, send all of those emails, and then all of the responses are going to come into one place. You don't have to check all the separate email addresses. It's all built for this use case. So all your responses are going to come into one, what you call inbox, for lack of a better phrase, within your campaign management system. Okay, so that is how you build email infrastructure so that it lasts, so that it will get deliverability over the long haul, and so that you can scale it as well. So if you have more than 60,000 you want to reach every month, every 60,000 people you want to reach, you add another server. You can keep adding onto infinity as far as you want to go, and as far as you can go with domains and email addresses, and that's it. So hopefully that helps you. If you need any help, we can do it for you. We can set it up. We can train you how to manage it, or we can do a white glove program where we actually manage it for you. Set it up and manage it for you. But reach out to us, kevinmdowney.com. Thanks for being here. Best of luck in business, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.